Look at a world map. It feels solid, right? Like these borders were carved into the earth by some divine GPS. But what if I told you the map is a lie? It's just a snapshot in a very messy, very chaotic game of risk. There are countries that were this close to having their own Olympic teams, their own annoying airports, and their own spot on your passport. We're talking about a Mormon superstate, a South American United States, and a country that only existed because two guys couldn't agree on a pile of zinc. Today, we're looking at the ghosts of geography, countries that almost existed. First up, let's talk about a country that would have made the Midwest look like a tiny backyard. We're diving into one of American history's biggest what-ifs, a proposed nation so vast it would have been larger than modern-day France. In 1849, after a grueling trek across the continent to escape religious persecution, Mormon settlers led by the formidable Brigham Young arrived in the Salt Lake Valley. They weren't just looking for a home, they were looking to build a self-sufficient, independent commonwealth. So they drafted a constitution and proposed the State of Deseret. And guys, this thing was huge. The name Deseret comes from the Book of Mormon, meaning honeybee, symbolizing their ideal of a hard-working, cooperative society. Their proposed state covered almost all of modern Utah and Nevada, plus huge chunks of California, Arizona, Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado. It even included a crucial Pacific port in San Diego. Imagine Utah, but with a surfboard. They weren't just claiming desert, they were strategically claiming the entire Great Basin and its vital water resources. The U.S. government in Washington, D.C. looked at this map and basically had a panic attack. A massive theocratic state loyal to Brigham Young instead of the federal government? Yeah, no thanks. Congress was also paralyzed by the debate over slavery and wasn't keen on admitting another state that could tip the balance. So they rejected the proposal and instead created the much smaller Utah Territory. But hey, if Deseret had happened, the American West would be unrecognizable. Las Vegas might have been a very, very different kind of city. Forget Sin City, think Service City. Probably fewer margaritas and slot machines, and a whole lot more hymns and honeybees. But wait, before we leave the U.S., we have to talk about the 14th state that almost wasn't. For 14 years, from 1777 to 1791, Vermont was its own independent country. It had its own currency, its own postal service, and it even negotiated with the British to potentially join Canada. Eventually, they joined the Union, but that independent spirit is still very much alive. And we can't forget the California Republic. In 1846, a group of settlers in Sonoma revolted and declared California an independent nation. It lasted for exactly 25 days. The Republic ended when the U.S. military arrived during the Mexican-American War. But the legacy lives on through the bear on their state flag today. Now let's head south, way south. You've definitely heard of George Washington, the father of the United States. But have you met the man who dreamed of being the Washington of an entire continent? Meet Simón Bolívar, a Venezuelan military and political leader known simply as El Libertador, the Liberator. Fueled by Enlightenment ideals and a burning desire to expel the Spanish Empire from his homeland, Bolívar embarked on one of history's most ambitious nation-building projects. In 1819, he created Gran Colombia. This wasn't just another country, it was conceived as a titan, a new center of power in the Western Hemisphere. It fused the territories of modern-day Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Panama, plus portions of northern Peru and western Brazil, into a single, massive state. With coastlines on both the Atlantic and Pacific, its potential for trade and influence was immense. Bolivar's grand vision was a stable and powerful federation, a United States of South America that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the United States and the great powers of Europe, ensuring the region's newfound independence would never again be threatened. But, like a disastrous group project in college, the infighting started almost immediately. The vast Andes Mountains and dense jungles made communication and control nearly impossible. Regional leaders like Francisco de Paula Santander in Colombia favored a federalist system with more local autonomy, clashing with Bolivar's preference for a strong central government. Everyone started fighting over who was really in charge. Utterly defeated and disillusioned, Bolivar resigned from the presidency. He famously lamented, "Those who have served the revolution have plowed the sea," a poetic way of saying all his efforts had been for nothing, leaving no trace. The country officially fell apart in 1831, just a year after Bolivar's death. If it had survived, Gran Colombia would be a global superpower today, a nation of over 100 million people, rich in oil, coffee, and culture. Just imagine that World Cup team. While Bolivar was plowing the sea, Central America was having its own breakup drama. From 1823 to 1841, there was the Federal Republic of Central America. Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica, all one country. They had a cool flag, a constitution, and big dreams. But then liberals and conservatives started throwing hands, and the federation shattered into 5 pieces. It's like a boy band that went solo way too early. None of the solo careers were as big as the original group. Let's jump to Europe for a what-if that could have stopped World War I. Meet the United States of Greater Austria. In the early 1900s, Archduke Franz Ferdinand planned to turn the empire into a federation of 15 autonomous states to give power to ethnic groups like Czechs and Ukrainians. But his assassination in 1914 ended the plan and started the Great War. After dreaming of empires that never were, let's shrink our focus. Way down. Let's go so small you could walk across this entire country in about 20 minutes. Meet neutral Moresnet, a tiny political anomaly that existed for over a century right in the heart of Europe. Following the Napoleonic Wars, the new borders of Europe were being drawn. This tiny triangle of land, less than 1.5 square miles, found itself wedged between the newly formed United Kingdom of the Netherlands and the Kingdom of Prussia. It was a geographical oddity, born from a very specific and very valuable disagreement. So why did it exist? The answer is zinc. A hugely valuable zinc mine, the Vieille Montagne, sat right on the contested border. In 1816, Prussia and the Netherlands couldn't agree on who should get it. So, in a stunning display of bureaucratic compromise, they decided not to decide. Instead, they created a neutral territory, a co-dominium, jointly administered by both nations. For over 100 years, this place was a quirky, stateless paradise. It had no army, meaning its male residents were exempt from military service in neighboring countries. It was a low-tax haven, which caused its population to boom. It even had its own flag and an unofficial anthem. But the ambition didn't stop there. The locals, feeling a unique sense of identity, made a serious push to become the world's first Esperanto-speaking state. The proposed name? Amikejo, which literally means place of friendship. It was the ultimate glitch in the matrix, a footnote in the grand treaties of Europe that blossomed into a real community. So what happened? World War I. When Germany invaded Belgium, the neutrality of Moresnet became a moot point. The geopolitical game board had been violently reset. After the war, the Treaty of Versailles officially handed the territory to Belgium. But for a century, Moresnet was the little country that could, a testament to what happens when two powers simply can't agree. Back to North America. Everyone knows Texas was its own republic, but did you know about the Republic of the Rio Grande? In 1840, 3 northern Mexican states decided they'd had enough of the central government and started their own country. It lasted exactly 283 days. That's shorter than some Hollywood marriages. The Mexican army showed up, the leaders realized they were outgunned, and they went back to being Mexican in exchange for a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's the blink and you'll miss it country of the 19th century. Finally, let's look at the Middle East in 1958. Iraq and Jordan, 2 separate kingdoms, decided to get married. They formed the Arab Federation. It was a power move to counter Egypt and Syria's union. They had a joint military, a joint government, and it lasted 6 months. A coup in Iraq turned the whole thing into a tragedy overnight. It's a reminder that on the map, a line drawn in ink can be erased in a heartbeat by a revolution. Geography isn't just about mountains. It's about who has the keys to the palace. So, what did we learn today? That the map of the world is basically a rough draft. Countries aren't permanent. They're just the projects that manage to survive the chaos of history. Next time you look at a globe, remember the ghosts. Remember the surfing Mormons of Deseret and the Esperanto speakers of Moresnet? Which of these almost countries do you wish had made it? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll redraw your state borders while you're sleeping. I'll see you in the next era.